Was it because of her intelligence? Or was there something else? Today I'll present to you the life of Catherine Parr, one of England's inspiring personalities and the final wife of King Henry VIII. To start off, we need to understand the backstory behind King Henry VIII's choice of women. Henry had 6 wives, out of which, as the famous historical rhyme, divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived, rightfully says, only one of these 6 women actually got to survive the marriage with the king. Since it was the Middle Ages, King Henry didn't just need a wife that would give him useful advice, but also a nurse who could treat his illnesses right away, a task that Queen Catherine will perform quite well. So now, let's dig a little deeper into Parr's history. Chapter 1: Early Life. As the daughter of Sir Thomas Parr and Maud Green, Catherine Parr was born in London sometime around summer 1512. After her father passed away, Catherine was sent to live in Northamptonshire with her uncle, Sir William Parr. She obtained a good education there in modern languages, Latin, and Greek. By all accounts, Catherine was vivacious, attractive, and intelligent. Chapter 2: Mistress Borough. Catherine married Edward Borough, son of Sir Thomas Borough of Gainsborough Hall in 1529 with the influence of her mother. Sir Thomas seems to have had complete control over his family. He was an outspoken advocate for Henry VIII's divorce of Catherine of Aragon and at the forefront of radical thought, even though he definitely showed mental distress. This is important, since he is thought to have had a religious impact on Parr. Whatever Sir Thomas Borough's effect over Catherine was, it was fleeting, since before Catherine turned 21, Edward Borough, who was in his early 20s, passed away in the spring of 1533. Chapter 3: First Widowhood. According to the story, she moved in with her cousin, Sir Walter Strickland, a widow, at Sizer Castle in Kendal. Remarriage was inevitable with the aid of Catherine Neville, Catherine's aunt by marriage. Catherine would have had a lot of influence over the selection of a second husband as a widow, without living parents, and with a younger brother who had just turned 18, though she likely sought advice from Bishop Tustall and Sir William Parr. Whatever decision was made, John Neville, the 3rd Baron Latimer, received the honour. Chapter 4: Lady Latimer. Lord Latimer was possibly a fairly unexpected option if Catherine made that decision on her own. He belonged to the large Neville family and was about 40 years old when he married Catherine. He had spent the majority of his life in the north, fighting in several of Henry VIII's military campaigns against the Scots. With her new family, Catherine made Snape Castle in Yorkshire their primary residence. Catherine thought she would have a peaceful life in the country, but that would soon change due to the outburst of a serious rebellion of the whole Tudor period. It is unknown if Latimer's participation in Henry VIII's campaign to quell the movement caused him to become overworked, or if he had a disease during his frequent travels, but he became severely ill at this time, and Catherine entered her second widowhood in March 1543. Chapter 5: Second Widowhood. Being in a position to attract potential suitors, Catherine quickly had 2 men courting her. She was strongly attracted to the handsome Sir Thomas Seymour, the late Queen Jane Seymour's brother, as was later demonstrated in her life. Catherine, however, was unable to accept Seymour's suggestions because the king's attention had turned to her. She didn't have much of a choice, though, as the family was pressuring her and Henry wouldn't take no for an answer. Her fate was set by the summer of 1543, and she wed Henry as his 6th wife. Chapter 6: Queen of England. Catherine rode high throughout the first 18 months of her marriage. She received acclaim from everyone, but especially from Henry, who showered her with gifts. When Henry appointed Catherine regent in 1544, the time of marital happiness culminated. As a capable and reasonable manager, Catherine lived up to Henry's standards, carefully deferring decisions that Henry felt would be too contentious, but overriding the council when necessary. Her involvement in religious issues increased following Henry's return, so perhaps this little spell of authority got to her head a little. This obviously could have only led to good things, right? Actually, Henry seemed to love talking about religion at first, but when Parr pushed her luck too far by getting involved in a legal dispute, the king's trusted advisors conspired to expose Catherine for her reforming viewpoints. After Henry found out, Catherine confronted him and swiftly moved the conversation to talking about his recent illness after explaining that it was only a misunderstanding. On January 28, 1547, Henry passed away. Catherine was most likely absent throughout his final days. Chapter 7: Queen Dowager. She was, however, secretly attracted to Sir Thomas Seymour, and at some point in the spring of 1547, she secretly wed him. Catherine and Seymour were contentedly established at Chelsea and Hanworth, Catherine's dower properties, despite Henry's family disputes. There are no reports of any illnesses, and when she gave birth in late August of 1548, there was nothing but a good conclusion to be anticipated. She unfortunately developed puerperal fever following the birth of a girl named Mary, and on September 5, 1548, she passed away. Seymour did not attend the funeral as was customary. She has been covered by a 19th-century monument made of alabaster while she lies still beneath the walls of St. Mary's Church. So, as a conclusion, Catherine Parr appears to have been a charming and likable individual. She enjoyed a great deal of affection from her stepchildren as well as her brothers and cousins. Her intelligence was obviously respected by Henry, and she was the first monarch to have her own compositions published, as you can see right here. Even as her theological works, which she placed great value on, are lost to us, her love of shoes, dancing, and elegant clothing connect her to a modern generation. I hope you learned something new today. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.